It's the middle of summer, it's 2024, middle of July, and the garden should be at its absolute best. But the weather has had other ideas and the garden has got a lot of catching up to do. In this video, I'm going to talk about how the weather has affected the tropical style planting I have here in my northern UK garden. I've lots of plants that rely on water and heat and light to grow really well to put on a great summer display. And those plants have really struggled this year, mainly because we've not had the warmth, we've not had the light, and yes, we've had the moisture, but it hasn't been always at the right time. So let's have a look at some of the plants that, first of all, are struggling. So an extreme example here. Here we have a palm tree that is dead. This is a bootia crossed with a jabea, so it should be hardy. But for whatever reason, in this part of the garden, I have lost a few bootias or bootia crosses, so it's not a lucky spot in my garden. Whereas in other places in the garden, they are looking fantastic. Green, healthy, growing new leaves without spotting or browning or anything like that. Not being protected over winter, they've just gone with it and grown really well. But as you can see, this one has pretty much bit the bullet and died. So we'll be covering this up, and normally this will be covered up by now anyway by the cannas and the gingers and the dahlias and the annual flowering plants such as the phonias and also the ricinus in this area. But this year, as you can see, it's been a very slow year. We've still got 5-6 weeks before my garden open days, so please let the sun shine soon, let the warmth come back to the garden, get that growth coming up, and we can have a really lush tropical exotic part of the garden here. But as we go around the garden, not everything is looking a bit slow. We've got some plants that are looking fantastic, including the tree ferns, which have put on some really good growth this year. Nice green crosias unfurled their leaves, nice beautiful intricate leaves we have on the tree ferns, and also the bamboos. The bamboos have really gone for it because we had warm for the last few years. So that heat has promoted the rhizomes to grow nice and big over autumn last year, plus all the rain we had over winter, which continued into spring this year, has meant that the bamboos have grown really well, nice and tall, straight culms, and they've grown a phenomenal speed. As soon as they've come out of the ground, they've shot for the sky, and in a matter of days and definitely weeks, we have got full growth on these culms. So one of the ones that's grown particularly well in my garden has been Phylostachys parvifolia, the small-leaved Phylostachys, but it should be a big timber-growing bamboo. But I've had this for 7-8 years and it's not really hit the mark yet in terms of maximum girth on these culms, but they're getting better year on year. I have divided a couple of plants here, so I'll be selling those on my open days in August as well. So nice plant to get hold of. And the blue bamboo, Barinda 1046, again, always grows really well, and I've got a couple of divisions of this as well. And other plants that are doing very well in the garden include the Schefflers, and these have, because we got a mild end of spring, not been cut back by any frost, so the new leaves that emerged have just been able to grow and develop without damage, and the moisture has suited these plants and they've grown really well. Nice big healthy leaves, and as you can see on the Schefflera macrophylla, which is said to be not truly hardy, but it's done fantastically well in my garden over the years. It's grown superbly well this season. So we can't sort of have this video without talking about a plant that absolutely loves moisture, and that is the Gunnera. So we've got the Gunnera cryptica, which is, if you remember, is a Gunnera tinctoria hybrid, and this plant has grown phenomenally well. I do have the straight Gunnera tinctoria around the pond, but it's not in the pond, it's on quite a dry bank, and that has grown fantastically well as well because of all the moisture we've got in the soil, and the leaves are the biggest they've ever been. So things that are grown from seed, like the Mexican sunflower, the ricinus, which I mentioned a little bit earlier, as you can see, are still small plants, yet to flower, yet to get those big ricinous leaves. But like I said, we've got a few more weeks for them to get into their stride when that heat and warmth hopefully comes back here to the UK. And why has the weather been so bad? Well, basically, we've been on the north side of the jet stream. We've had the cool weather coming from the northwest, and we've just had so much rain coming in from the Atlantic Ocean. So that's why it's been sort of mildish, but quite dull and quite wet all year, basically. So we just need that high pressure to build. We need to get some warmth from the south and southwest, and we need settled conditions, get the heat so that the plants can put on some rapid growth. Now they've got so much moisture in the soil, it shouldn't take long for them to grow really, really well. So by the way, I'm filming this today in HD rather than 4K because I realise that a lot of people don't watch in 4K, and it means my battery lasts a lot longer when I'm making these videos. It's a lot easier for me. But comment below if you rather you go back to 4K, or do you just watch in high definition anyway rather than go up to 4K? And I would like to know also how your sort of exotic plants you've grown from seed this year, or the more tropical plants or the house plants you brought out in the garden are doing. Like I said, here in the north of England, it's been a slow season, but it's a long season. We've still got all the rest of July. We've got all of August, hopefully, to enjoy nice, warm, sunny weather. September, for me, is the favourite month in the year. So hopefully by then, the garden will be at its best.